Hey guys! This is Hannah and
Mateo.
this is my little brother, and we were bringing him in because in my mind he is the video game expert. Now, I have only ever played video games when I was using my Wii to work out because I needed to do something and I hated running homeschool life, and when he needed a player too for any game he was playing, like Zelda. So I decided to be able to give a proper opinion on the talk we're giving today. I'd bring in him. So this week's content has been all kinds of over the place. In my philosophy course this week, we've talked a lot about history and a different way of looking at it, how it must have looked as the new mediums of art were growing in the past. And the last lecture in the 10-part series by Paul Cantor in his Commerce and Culture talks, a very, very interesting prediction. He says, video games will be the new art form. Now, we're going to explain this a little bit more to make it a little more clear, but as far as I can tell from all my thinking, I kind of agree, but I thought I'd talk with someone who actually plays them. So, Mateo,
Yes.
what do video games have that movies do not have?
You have a choice to actually choose where the character goes. Instead of going into the dark and scaring shed, you can go into the car and leave.
All right, fair enough. So video games have choice. Okay, now think back to the first video games you played. How are they different from how video games are now?
Well, you definitely had to follow the script. There were multiple scripts you could follow, but they were all single choice scripts.
So you'd say now they're kind of multi-dimensional, you pick the story kind of thing?
Yeah, you can choose a character and then they have their own story and you get to pick where they go, when they go.
Awesome. Now, looking back to those first video games again, when you played them, was that enough? Was that video game like amazing in itself?
Back then, yes.
Awesome. So you'd say the experience has grown as you got tired of the old experience. It's starting to create its own experiences more so?
Yeah.
Now, I have a fun fact for you. Did you know that the first movies were actually recorded plays?
I want to say yes, just so I can be a smart aleck, but no.
But it's an interesting thought, though, isn't it? Because if you look back, movies, would you consider them an art form now?
Yes.
Well, when they first started, they were copying the old art form. They were like, all right, this play is a really big hit. Let's record it and see what people think. And back then, people thought that was really cool because something was moving on the screen and nobody had to do anything. And it was like, ah! But as they continued to grow and change, as people got tired of watching crappy plays recorded on video camera, they started wanting more. And so what movies had to do is they had to evolve into something more and different and create their own separate content that was unique to only movies. So now we have like insane special effects, and we have, multi-dimensions, things popping out at you at the screen, crazy stuff like that. And actually plays sometimes mimic movies, and like The Lion King is now right. So if you look back at video games, even you see this. You see where video games copied old comic books, and TV shows and movies, and they're okay. But when a new video game comes out that's completely different than everything else, all of a sudden everybody flips out. They're like, I want that.
I'll say I'm that person also.
Yes. When you look back at video games, you're having a discussion with mom about a new video game. What are the things that mom says for reasons that you cannot get that video game?
Pretty much any other mom in the world. No gore. Wait, no, I'm allowed to have that one. No sex, drugs, or partial nudity. That's pretty much the main points.
So, pretty much what you're saying is no sex, violence, and another one that mom doesn't really worry about too much, but a lot of moms worry about, and mom kind of does, and you just aren't really interested in those video games, and it's ones where your reality is changed a little bit. You start believing the game is real. You like get into it and you're like, yeah, and you're like yelling at the TV screen and you're like throwing your remote and you're just like, we don't play those video games.
I kind of do.
Well then, mom might not know about that one. But this is actually a very popular review when it comes to new art forms around the world. When you look back at Greek tragedies, when they first came out and they started turning into plays. So Greek tragedies usually were presented as one person telling a story, and they had many different voices they were using to make their story come alive. When plays started coming out with multiple actors, different voices, people showing emotion and getting upset, moving around, jumping, running, all of a sudden people were getting upset that it was making an illusion with reality. People were feeling things as they watched plays. And of course, sex and violence as well. And when you look back at Shakespeare, and yep, that's what everybody said about his plays when they first came out. They were like, this is crazy. And all the kids are like, yay, it's awesome. So it seems to be a trend here. Sex and violence seem to be things that draw people in there. Even if you look back in the Bible, starting in Genesis 4, people are already killing each other, and this is the very beginning. I have a question for you. Would you say that video games have a pretty big richness of potential?
Yeah.
I mean, we see VR happening already. Now, this talk originally happened in 2006 when this guy made this prediction. Virtual reality hadn't come out. High definition was still kind of a in people's brains. Xbox was just a gaming system.
Just a gaming system.
The multi-connection with headsets from people all over the world was just barely an idea in someone's basement. And we see it continuing to grow in exuberant amounts all over the world. And Japan is kind of heading up all of this, isn't it?
It's kind of annoying, but yes.
No, it's really cool though, because for the first time ever, you see Pacific and Atlantic like merging, and Japan's kind of taking over what our influence is actually. A lot of the time, most of the video games that you are really interested in, or the new gaming systems you're really interested in, all are coming straight from Japan. So, Mateo, I have a question for you.
I might not have an answer.
Would you say that video games are the new art form coming into play?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think that by 2106, they will be like, they'll look back and they'll be like, yeah, that's when video games were really launching off, and video games will be just mundane and what everybody does?
I'm thinking so.
All right, well, there you have it. From my 15-year-old brother, we've decided video games will become the new art form. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.